Support comes from the Missouri Forest Products Association, saluting Earth Day on April 22nd with an ongoing commitment to help offset carbon emissions with sustainable harvesting of Missouri forests. Details at choosewood.com.
Welcome to St. Louis on the Air. I'm Jim Kirchherr. Nearly a decade ago, HandleBar owner Tatyana Telnikova began heading up the after party for St. Louis's World Naked Bike Ride. Now she's even more deeply involved as an organizer of this annual event, which gets going about 4 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, Saturday, in the Grove neighborhood. 12 years running now, this growing St. Louis tradition aims to raise awareness about oil dependency, body positivity, and cyclist vulnerability. Tatyana Telnikova, welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me.
So tell me about, what's this all about? You get a lot of questions about this, I'm sure. So fill me in basically when we say World Naked Bike Ride. Really?
Yes, it is indeed. And St. Louis is just one of many cities that hosts it. World Naked Bike Ride started in 2003 in Canada and then spread throughout the world. We keep getting more and more attendance also every year as the ride progresses. And it's been a lot of fun organizing it, and I'm very, very fortunate and very thankful to be able to lead it here in St. Louis.
Yeah, how many people actually participate?
We estimate, it's a little bit hard to count, I've tried, but we estimate between 1,500 and 2,000 people actually ride in the event, and then a lot of people come to the festival in the Grove as well.
Yeah, there's a lot more going on around this than just the bike ride, right? That's how you got involved in the first place, right?
Exactly. Yeah, so it started as the bike ride, and it used to start in Tower Grove Park, then it moved to South Grand, and as the ride grew, it became essentially a necessity to close a street down for it, because once you have an accumulation of several thousand people, it becomes dangerous to also have cars going by in the streets and stuff. And so that is why about 5 years ago, me and a couple of volunteers that were helping me out back then, we basically decided that it would be the best thing to do is to shut down Manchester and have the cyclists take over the streets completely.
So are people actually naked and riding the bike, or is this more of a clothing optional bike ride?
I would say it's a clothing optional bike ride. However, some people are indeed fully naked. The tagline of the bike ride is "Bare as you dare," so by no means do you have to be actually naked. But during the bike ride, you can, as it is a protest technically to, against oil dependency. So some people do, in fact, disrobe completely. I would say most of the people, usually they have some undergarments on, or they'll have body paint, or honestly, I've seen so many different really, really creative body decorations that people come up with every year. So it's a really fun, very colorful event.
I mean, your first thought, the first thought might be that public nudity is illegal. Is this something that you work with the police department, or do they, as we might say, turn the other way?
The police department is aware of the event, and as I said, so in the footprint of the event, nudity is not technically legal. During the ride, as it is a protest, it's somehow that's a gray area right there, So we, knock on wood, haven't had problems with the police so far. In fact, we even hire a police escort for the ride to make sure that there's no issues, crossing big intersections or dealing with traffic throughout the city.
So there is some cooperation with the
There's definitely cooperation.
But
yes.
Did it start out that way?
No, I don't think that it did. But it also didn't start out with like 2,000 people. So I think back when it was maybe 100 or 2. But even then, the first time that I personally was exposed to the bike ride, I did not know what was going on. I live on Arsenal and Grand, and I was just sitting on a balcony at my house, and I basically saw hundreds of riders going by, had to double take to confirm that, in fact, some of them didn't seem to be wearing a whole lot of clothing. And then followed them to South Grand, where basically the ride ended also. And yeah, I saw police there, and they just were smiling just like everybody else at what's going on.
It's a big party, first of all, but it's also a protest. So let's talk a little bit about the why this got started,
right,
and why it takes the form that it takes.
Yeah, absolutely. So obviously, aside from being really fun, which is a big aspect of it, it does have, I feel, impact and it does have messages. The main one, in my opinion, is still cyclist rights and cyclist vulnerability on the road. I myself commute. I don't really race, or I wouldn't consider myself a serious cyclist, but I really enjoy riding the bicycle through the city. So the message that the World Naked Bike Ride brings is, one, when you go on it, we go actually all through St. Louis. So we'll go through Midtown, we'll go through downtown, we'll hit Soulard, we'll go through Cherokee Street, South Grand, and then back into the Grove. And you'll see that you can see basically all of the city and you can ride it, and it just presents the city in this whole other way for you.
Is this a leisurely bike ride, or are some people going pretty fast?
No, it's definitely leisurely. You can't really go faster than the lead. We have to stay together in a group to make sure that everybody is safe and everything is consistent. So, so basically, and the goal is that everybody else, like watching us riding bikes, maybe will look at it and be like, wow, like these people are having a lot of fun. Maybe I should hop on my own two wheels as well.
But I'm not sure if I watched this go by, I would be thinking about oil dependency.
I understand. I don't necessarily disagree with you. Yes, that is the original message that the founders of the World Naked Bike Ride started it with. I do think it expanded into a lot more than that, as things often do and evolve,
I can hear in your voice, as the listeners can, you're not from here. The Midwest sometimes in St. Louis in particular, has a reputation for being a little stodgy and conservative. Mm-hmm. And it might strike people that this is a surprising event for a place like St. Louis. I'm not sure about your impression. You've been here for, 10, 12 years or so, right?
Actually going on 20.
20 years.
Yeah. Well, I'm from Moscow, Russia myself. I don't know that this would be allowed there. Probably not.
Is this a great country or what? Right?
I know, right? Well, I mean, I would say the Midwest in general is probably considered to be a little bit more on the conservative side. However, St. Louis City, I think historically has been more liberal. And I honestly think that this event is really great for St. Louis, because for younger people, for people like looking to move to St. Louis and seeing that we have cool, fun, weird events like this, I think, for me personally, it would be really appealing to know. So I feel that it adds to the St. Louis reputation as a really fun city that's into all kinds of quirky stuff.
Yeah, there's talk about the etiquette for the event.
Yes.
What kinds of guidelines, rules, both for the participants, but also for the people who might be watching?
Yes, absolutely.
Because some people, I'm thinking, might just want to come out and gawk.
Yes, we do have some of that. However, we generally discourage people from just standing on the sidewalks creepily taking photos of people. In fact, we definitely promote the message of no photography without consent. Of course, we can't really regulate that during the ride itself, but in the footprint where we gather and in the footprint where the event ends, we don't allow photography without consent. Also, we generally encourage people that if you're going to come and you're going to be standing on a sidewalk, maybe disrobe a little bit yourself and be part of the event rather than making everyone there feel awkward. And again, it's not like people are actually going around completely naked, everybody, or anything like that. But other big aspects of the event are promoting body positivity. And to me, basically, that means respecting and loving your body and also respecting others. Meaning that consent in general is very important. That means that commenting on people's body parts, even if it's a compliment, is discouraged because it can make someone feel really weird and just kind of make them feel objectified.
I think one of the problems that you might face is having this become too popular, too commercial, too many people showing up who aren't in on the, I won't say in on the joke, but as in on the idea of what this is about.
Yeah, I think that is definitely a danger of, an event like this. We haven't gotten there yet. I would say if we feel that if it's moving in that direction, then we'll definitely make adjustments and maybe go a little bit more underground if need be. But for now, I would say the massive amount of people on the street are actually participating.
Yeah, let's take a phone call. Mike is calling from St. Louis. Mike?
Hi, Jim. Yeah, I was born in Germany, and growing up, my parents were artists, and we had a painting in the living room, and it was a painting of our family, my parents and other parents, standing around smoking naked at a pond somewhere, and all the kids in a row naked with little whistles around their necks so if they got lost. But culturally, I grew up that way, that nakedness was not anything to think about or bother you. And as Americans, we are very conservative and still have a long way to go to accept the fact that this is just a natural thing, and it shouldn't be a big deal.
Yeah. I lived in Germany for a while, and a lot of nude sunbathing and naked children and things like that. I don't know what it's like in Russia.
Also like that too. It is weird. I have a child myself now, and it's strange that she's 1 year, she's one, and I feel that I need to put a swimsuit on her, even though it seems to be that what does it matter? Basically, we're all made of the same stuff. We all have the same parts and all the same bodies. Why make it weird?
But we haven't really talked about the opposition to this. There must be a lot of people who really don't want to see this happen anymore. They're not happy with this sort of an event.
I usually get some criticism. I would say I'm generally pleased to see that after the event, there will usually be only a couple of complaints that I get, but the overwhelming reaction is people think it's fun, people think it's exciting, people wanted to keep going. I have last year, I think we got, one of the people that got upset about it was actually from out of town and got a bit of attention even in the media, because it just happened to be that they were staying, I believe, in the Grove, and definitely weren't prepared for all that. So it was just an unfortunate coincidence there. And to the people that, it makes them feel uncomfortable, about the people being naked, I understand that. I can't disagree with someone being uncomfortable with something, or someone being offended by something. People get offended by all kinds of stuff. Some people get offended by your sexual orientation, your religious orientation, or outfits and whatnot. But at the same time, if I'm offended by something that you're doing, I don't feel that it gives me the permission to then deny you the ability to do it.
Yeah,
right?
and I imagine the folks who participate are a pretty accepting group of a lot of things, right?
Everybody really is fun. And what I really enjoy about the event is the energy that it creates it is so welcoming, and it is so fun, and it's honestly, even so many people think that it is something sexual. It's really, really, really not, which I think is great.
Yeah, when you first got involved, did you think you'd be here 10 years later with this event going the way it goes?
No, I didn't. I didn't think I would be running it, especially not. Well, I'm not completely by myself. I do have some awesome people helping me. I have 3 amazing volunteers that have been great, and then before that, I had a few friends of mine too that were helping with the ride. But no, I got it got handed to me a few years ago, and I guess I intend to keep it going until I find a suitable replacement for myself to hand it off to.
Yeah, so it starts tomorrow around 4 o'clock, but the party begins before that, right?
No, so the gathering starts at 4. Then at 5 we have a so-called costume contest with fun categories such as most hairy, most colorful, best ensemble, and best dance moves. And then the ride takes off at 6 p.m. sharp. Okay. And then we ride. It takes about an hour and a half or so to get back.
And if you don't want to see it, stay away. That's the advice, right?
Yeah, if you don't want to see it, check out the route, and just don't look.
Great. Well, I want to thank Tatyana Telnikova, the owner of the HandleBar in the Grove neighborhood and an organizer of the World Naked Bike Ride, for joining us today. This is St. Louis on the Air on St. Louis Public Radio, 90.7 KWMU.
Support comes from the Missouri Forest Products Association, saluting Earth Day on April 22nd with an ongoing commitment to help offset carbon emissions with sustainable harvesting of Missouri forests. Details at choosewood.com.